In the previous video, you saw me picking out and buying my dream freshwater stingray at Predatory Fins. That happened about a week ago, and they shipped that stingray to me, and in today's video, we are going to be unboxing that stingray and checking it out. I cannot wait, so let's dive right in. So first of all, where are we putting this stingray? Well, eventually it's going to go into my 500-gallon plywood aquarium that I basically built with the dimensions in mind for a stingray so that there's plenty of room front to back and side to side. Basically a ton of floor space for a stingray. And here is the 500-gallon tank. It is doing great. All the fish are happy and healthy in their big new home. So all the cichlids have done great in here over the first month. You can see the big Oscar, the bala shark seems to have grown a ton, the Severums, the Geophagus, the Walroo are doing great, and even the 3 electric blue Acara. I know a few of you asked about the electric blue Acara. You were worried about the tiger Oscar potentially eating them. They have done just fine in here. They're about the same size as the Geophagus Topos that were originally with the Oscar, so I really wasn't too concerned. I felt like they were just big enough that the Oscar would not eat them. I went ahead and fed these guys some flake foods and pellets, but as you can see, the only thing that's not going great yet with this tank is the water clarity. I did add some new chemical filtration with Chemi Pure Blue in here, but the tannins from the driftwood have continued to come in, so that should hopefully go away in the next few weeks. And the mounting system I have coming for the Radion lights, I think will definitely give this an awesome effect along with that water clarity. So everything should be rounding into shape and looking great as soon as that stingray is ready to come into this tank in just a few months. And that tank already has some big fish in there, and I wanted to keep a closer eye on the stingray specifically, so I felt like the 180-gallon aquarium here would be perfect because it only has electric blue Acara, some young fish that I've been growing up since they were babies, and I do have some longer term plans for this 180, but I felt like in the meantime it was perfect to hold the electric blue Acara to keep the tank cycled and to provide some color and activity into the tank, but then also to hold my new stingray. So it is definitely big enough for the size stingray that I'm getting. Eventually this stingray will outgrow the 180, but since it's just going to be in there for maybe a couple months, I felt like it was a perfect scenario for this. So the plan here is once I get the stingray, to put it in the 180, monitor it very closely, make sure it's eating and getting to know me, getting really comfortable down here with me, and after a few months, if he's doing really well, I will then move him into the 500-gallon plywood aquarium and restock my 180 for the longer term. And you may have seen in the previous video that I actually hand selected this stingray when I was at Predatory Fins in New York. I did a full tour. It was an incredible facility with awesome, beautiful fish, monster fish. They had everything you could ask for there. I was blown away by that tour and really excited to get a quality stingray. So I just saw that the shipping label was created. The delivery is coming tomorrow. I need to get this tank ready for the ray. That means a good water change. I'll probably do 40 or 50%. Wipe off the acrylic, make sure the panel is looking great, but I also think I need to remove some decor in this tank so that it has plenty of space to roam around, and the electric blue Acara will be just fine with some of the other structures I'll keep in the tank. I won't make it completely barren, but I will open up a good amount of floor space for that ray. We had the water draining, we wiped off all the algae from the acrylic, now it's time to take out some of the rocks and driftwood. So we removed a couple pieces of driftwood and some rocks. It definitely opened up a lot of floor space for the ray. And as time goes on, if I ever feel like I need to remove more, I will. 2 of the pieces of driftwood are attached to slate at the bottom, so they're really difficult to get out. So hopefully I won't have to ever remove those, but I think there's plenty of space for the ray at this time. So let's fill this guy up and get the tank looking good. The water change is complete. Some of the decor has been removed. This whole space here is now open, and some of the electric blue Acara are back there. Like I said, I might remove some more driftwood and rocks and plants if I feel like the stingray needs more room, but I think this will look good. Can't wait for the stingray tomorrow. Stay tuned. So our package has arrived, and I am so excited to check this guy out and get him in my tank. A stingray has been on my bucket list when it comes to fish keeping for many, many years, and it's finally happening. I'm just so excited to check this out. It came overnight from Predatory Fins, so they shipped it out yesterday afternoon, came right to my house around 11 a.m. and it was about 98 degrees today, so I'm glad this has not been in the box too long, so let's go ahead and check this guy out. Got a nice thank you card from Rod and Kevin at Predatory Fins. They're awesome guys. I would highly recommend you check out Predatory Fins, especially if you want a stingray. Alright, here is the styrofoam box that came within the box. So we have some insulation around the packaging or around the bag itself. So yeah, everything feels warm but not too hot. Like I said, it was super hot today, but the bag and box itself was not impacted, so that's great. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Oh, it's a lot of water, so it's kind of heavy to hold, but let me show it closer to the camera. This is our new Black Diamond Stingray. Absolutely incredible. You can already see some of the amazing patterns and color on this guy, but we're gonna get them out of the front bag so you can see them a little better. They packaged this up really well with multiple bags and obviously the insulation, so makes sense why they're so good at shipping out big fish. And here he is just with the front bag. So we got the ray floating. He looks like he's doing great. Just absolutely beautiful stingray. This guy's a little bigger than I remembered. Gonna look so awesome in this tank. So we have now temperature acclimated the ray, and like always, I'm gonna plop and drop. So pour the bag of water and the ray into the net, catching the water into the bucket, and then pulling the net with the ray. That's how I've done with all of my fish before. This is the first time with a big ray, so hope for the best. We got the stingray in the tank. He looks so good in here. I am so excited. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the lights so that he can settle in for a while. We'll come back later today or tomorrow, maybe even feed this guy, see how he's doing. So only a couple hours after I put the stingray in the tank, it was already pretty active, moving around the tank, exploring everywhere, already playing around with the sand and kind of half burying himself in the sand there. And he was clearly enjoying that open sand space in the middle of the tank. He was also definitely curious about the electric blue acara, and just like in the 500-gallon aquarium, I think the electric blue acara in here are just big enough that they wouldn't be eaten by the stingray. If they were smaller, I think they would definitely be in harm's way, but they should be just fine. If I see any type of issue, I will scoop out the electric blue acara. Right now, I just don't have a good place for them to go other than this tank, and I think they will do just fine. And then coming back on day 2, the ray was swimming all over the tank. He was panel surfing, swimming around, just very active in general. He definitely seemed to be curious about me. I had friends and family stop by to check him out, and every time he was just so personable, curious about us, and was probably hungry, so that was what we did next. I went ahead and de-thawed some shrimp and cut it into pieces. I put it in the tank, and right away the stingray was eating, which was a great sign. It was a big relief that he was already eating, and you could see that he pounces over the food. And like Kevin at Predatory Fins had told me, it was important to watch the ray closely to make sure he didn't just go over the food, chew on it, and then swim away. I watched the ray chew on the food and swallow it, which is a really good sign. He had about a shrimp and a half. The other half of the shrimp, the electric blue acaras took away, which could be a bit of a problem. I think when I feed this tank in the future, I'm gonna need to put in some more flake food first so that the electric blue acara are occupied, and then I can target feed the ray a little bit, making sure he can find that shrimp before the electric blue acara. I'm also going to be mixing in some gobies and silver sides and other meaty foods for the ray. He really is a magnificent fish. I've never had anything as jaw-dropping in my fish keeping experience. I'm so excited. It's given me new life in the hobby. Not that I was struggling there in the first place, but this just gives new excitement in general, and I hope you're as excited to see the journey as I am. And as I'm filming this is day 5 of having the ray, and he's been super active. He follows me around the tank. You can see him kind of following my hand. He's already getting to know me as the person that feeds him, and just so curious and seems very smart. He has eyes that kind of look like an octopus on the top there, the mouth underneath, and then just the coloration of the Black Diamond Stingray is just stunning to me. Rambo, do you like the ray? Rambo. Rambo loves the ray too. But because this stingray is such a big deal down here in my fish room, and I think it's going to be a focal point of many of my videos, I feel like we do need to name him. I don't name all of my fish, only a couple down here have names, but I could definitely use some help from you naming this guy. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section below. And if you would like a stingray just like this one, or just to see an awesome tour video of Predatory Fins, definitely click this video here. Couldn't have enjoyed my time at Predatory Fins anymore, and obviously I'm very happy with the stingray. So thanks again to them, and thanks for watching.